The Parthian Cell. In 1936, archaeologists in Iraq uncovered a set of clay jars in Kujut Rabu near Baghdad, dating to the Parthian era, circa 250 BC AD 224. Inside each jar was an assembly, a copper cylinder surrounding an iron rod sealed with bitumen. The team's director, Wilhelm Königs, immediately dubbed this the Baghdad Battery, suggesting it might have been a galvanic cell for electroplating. If true, it would imply anachronistic electrical knowledge. However, mainstream archaeologists found no evidence of electroplated artifacts from Parthian times, and many now think these vessels were sacred containers or jars for sacred scrolls. The jars mismatch, one for electricity, another for magic, and their disappearance after the 2003 war only deepened the mystery. Was this a clandestine voltmeter, or merely the grave goods of a forgotten cult? The answer remains unresolved, leaving a metallic riddle from antiquity. The Buried Temple. High on a Turkish plateau, Göbekli Tepe stands as archaeology's ultimate curveball. Excavations since 1995 have revealed a stone temple complex, erected around 9600 BC, a full 8,000 years before the Egyptian pyramids. Massive T-shaped pillars, some carved with leopards, snakes, and scorpions, form circles that predate agriculture itself. The site has hypnotized the public, thrilled tourists, and stymied archaeologists. Even its discoverer, Klaus Schmidt, admitted that drawing definitive conclusions was necessarily speculative. Why would hunter-gatherers build such elaborate shrines? Worse still, the people of Göbekli Tepe themselves buried the entire temple around 8000 BC, perhaps deliberately hiding its purpose. Modern scholars debate whether it was an observatory, a cathedral on a hill, or something more esoteric. Crucially, no simple explanation has emerged. The site's sheer unexpectedness and deliberate concealment leave us grasping at patterns. Did Göbekli Tepe encode lost knowledge too dangerous to reveal? For now, the silence in those buried chambers remains an eerie echo of an enigma. The Crystal Enigma. A dozen or so quartz skull carvings, purportedly from pre-Columbian Mesoamerica, have fascinated the world as mystical artifacts. These crystal skulls, some flawless, human-sized, and eerily realistic, inspired wild tales. Atlantean relics, alien technology, or psychic reservoirs of ancient wisdom. Popular books credit them with supernatural powers. Skeptics say they are novelties. In labs, the truth emerged. The British Museum and Smithsonian Institute found microscopic tool marks from modern grinding wheels. One analysis traced carving to 19th century Germany, far from any Aztec workshop. None of these skulls were ever recovered in a scientific excavation. All appear on the antique market or as mysterious gifts. To some, they are charming hoaxes. To others, tantalizing puzzles. The skulls remain in glass cases, their polished forms whispering contradictions. They hint at forbidden knowledge, the legends claim. Yet the forensic facts tell a prosaic tale of Victorian hoaxers. The unresolved implication is chilling. Have we overlooked a genuine cult of crystal lore, or was the skull narrative itself created to distract from what was truly buried? In any case, their stories are one mystery layered atop another. The lost mechanism. In 1901, Greek sponge divers plumbed an ancient shipwreck off Antikythera, tossing aside bronze statues until they discovered a chunk of corroded metal gears. Only 2 years later, did geologist Spyridon Stays notice the teeth on the incrustation. Decades passed before scientists realized this was an analog computer, a 2,000-year-old device to predict eclipses, the cycles of the moon, and even the timing of the ancient Olympic Games. The Antikythera mechanism is now hailed as the first known mechanical planetarium. Its sudden appearance, a single fragment among lost relics, means that an entire advanced tradition must have vanished. How did Hellenistic engineers master such technology, only for it to vanish for 1,500 years? Inscriptions and X-rays show expert craftsmanship, but no accompanying workshop or treatise survives. Some suggest secret brotherhoods of scientists or early technologists suppressing their methods as sacred. Others suspect merely the vicissitudes of history. The wreck sank with all clues locked inside. Today, the mechanism rests in a Greek museum, and researchers puzzle over remaining pieces. Its very existence forces us to imagine a hidden lineage of knowledge, obscured in the wash of time. The last word is not spoken. Each new crack of X-rays reveals how much we still do not know. Khufu's hidden chamber. The Great Pyramid of Giza has long guarded its secrets. Centuries of archaeologists pored over its shafts and stonework, certain all had been found. But in recent decades, modern physics betrayed a fresh mystery. Cosmic ray muons revealed a huge void deep within Khufu's pyramid. First, in 2017, scientists announced a previously unknown chamber over the Grand Gallery. And in 2023, they detected a 30-meter horizontal corridor above the entrance, blocked off for millennia. Egyptian officials now call the pyramid the most complex ever built. Yet for now, these chambers lie empty of explorers. Theories abound: royal treasure, unfinished construction, or ritual passage to the afterlife. Officially, the blank spaces are weight-relieving cavities to support the king's burial chamber. But critics wonder if something more lurks. The government has approved only remote scans so far, and the public is left in suspense. We have the scans and schematics, but not the story. The Great Stones of Giza have again swallowed up new evidence, suggesting powerful minds are shielding what Khufu's architects intended. What remains hidden, even today, could rewrite our understanding of Egypt's greatest pyramid. The Forbidden Library. In antiquity, Alexandria's library was the luminous storehouse of all human wisdom. Scholars gathered there, copying scrolls under the Moasion's glowing oil lamps. Yet this seat of learning for all time was systematically erased by fire and censorship. Julius Caesar's siege in 48 BC ignited a blaze that consumed scrolls. Centuries later, Roman and then Christian decrees sealed its fate. Accounts suggest the remaining books were carted off and burned under orders of Theodosius in the 4th by 5th centuries or lost in raids. By the end, nothing of Alexandria's manuscripts remained on the shelves, only fragments elsewhere. Modern archaeologists find no inscriptions or scrolls from the original library. What knowledge was lost in that conflagration can only be imagined. Euclidean proofs, lost plays of Sophocles, the implications gnaw at scholars' minds. Some conspiracy theories allege a deliberate cover-up by powerful elites who feared forbidden science, electricity, philosophy, that the library held. Others see only tragic mismanagement over centuries. Either way, the absence is profound. The library's fate is now a symbol: truth burned, voices silenced, an entire civilization left guessing at the final chapters. The Forbidden Library remains a whisper in the desert wind, its secrets irretrievable. The cuneiform enigma. In 2006, Belgian scholar Jonas Matuzak stumbled across a simple cuneiform clay fragment in a crate from the Sumerian city of Nippur. The tablet, found in the 19th century but ignored, turned out to be part of a lost myth about a storm god trapped in a cage, an otherwise unknown tale. The tiny shard, catalogued Ni 1251, was only 4,400 years old. Matuzak translated the tiny text and realized it mentioned gods Enlil and Utu, and a fox volunteering to rescue the imprisoned deity. But the tablet is badly broken, ending mid-sentence. The last lines of the story remain missing. Scholars were amazed that such a narrative from one of humanity's earliest civilizations could still be hiding in a museum storeroom. The fragment's obscurity raised questions. Were there other tablets like it still unexamined? Did the myth survive in later epics? For now, we have only tantalizing clues. Even full collaborations of Sumerian literature did not list this tale, making it a new myth of Enlil. It carries unresolved implications. Perhaps an entire series of theological stories is still entombed in archives. In a sense, every unread cuneiform tablet is a voice smothered by time, and powerful systems of priorities have, until now, kept this story on ice. The fox's fate and the storm god's salvation remain an open question, echoing a mystery lost for millennia. The Mask of the Ancients. In 1929, a farmer in Sichuan, China, discovered a cache of jade objects, but serious archaeology at the Sanxingdui site began only in 1986. What emerged were thousands of Bronze Age artifacts, towering masks with bulging eyes, giant bronze heads, intricate ritual vessels, unlike anything in known Chinese history. Over 3,000 years old, these relics predate Shang and Zhou dynasties. In recent excavations, archaeologists found 13,000 new items in sacrificial pits, all deliberately smashed and buried. Why an entire sophisticated culture destroyed its own art? Some say war or catastrophe, others whisper of forbidden beliefs. The mask's exaggerated features, long noses, wide eyes, suggest an unknown pantheon. Chinese scholars admit their civilization's textbooks have no chapter for Shu, the state that likely created Sanxingdui. Even the government has largely kept digs under wraps. International teams are finally being allowed study. One archaeologist calls the collections unsurpassed in technological skill. The mystery endures, a hidden civilization's glory buried by its own hand, awaiting full excavation. What truths about ancient astronomy, religion, or empire lie sealed in that pit? For now, Sanxingdui stands as a guarded secret of China's past, the Tunnel of the Plumed Serpent. In 2003, heavy rains at Teotihuacan exposed a small sinkhole by the Plumed Serpent Pyramid. When Mexican archaeologist Sergio Gomez peered into the darkness, he found an ancient sealed tunnel. Using ground-penetrating radar, his team mapped a 100-meter passage, mirroring one already known under the Pyramid of the Sun. The entrance had been deliberately sealed with massive stones some 2,000 years ago. Gomez realized whatever was inside that tunnel was meant to stay hidden forever. By 2005, they began clearing it, slowly removing tons of debris. Today, a nameless chamber lies at the end, untouched and inaccessible by human hands. Diving doesn't work in rubble. Mexican authorities guard the site, fearing looters. Speculation runs wild, a buried altar of creation, fillings of rich offerings. The silence is deliberate. Only a few scientists have even confirmed the tunnel's presence. The implication is disquieting. A pyramid deliberately locked down. Here in the heart of Mesoamerica, the gaze of history was truly shut out, awaiting whoever deciphers its reason. It casts a shadow on Teotihuacan's glory. Perhaps the peak of the city's power left its greatest secret uncharted. Secrets of the Sky Disk. In 1999, near Nebra, Germany, treasure hunters with metal detectors chanced upon a bronze plate gilded with gold symbols, the Nebra Sky Disk. Radiocarbon dating places it around 1600 BC, making it the world's oldest known realistic star chart. Its engraved Pleiades star cluster, sun and moon, even a solar boat, show advanced Bronze Age astronomy. Scientists call it one of the most important archaeological finds of the 20th century. The catch: it was illegally excavated and trafficked, suppressing immediate study. Only after police sting operations in 2002 was the disc recovered by German authorities. Now, safely in a museum, it still raises puzzles. Why bury a precision instrument? What ceremonies accompanied it? Some suggest secret cults of solar worship using this portable star map. Others note an alignment with distant mountains on midsummer solstice. Its symbols encode calendrical rules previously seen only in Babylonian texts, implying lost cross-cultural exchanges. The Nebra disk emerged from secrecy to force astronomers to rewrite Bronze Age knowledge. Yet its full story remains hidden behind protective glass. The identity of its owners and the reason it was buried at all are unanswered questions. The enigma of the Voynich manuscript. Among medieval codices, the Voynich manuscript is sui generis. Held at Yale's Beinecke Library, this 15th century book is written in an undeciphered script and filled with bizarre drawings of unknown plants, cosmic charts, and nude figures bathing in tubes. Carbon dating confirms the parchment dates to 1404 or 1538, but its author and language remain a riddle. Throughout the 20th century, codebreakers and cryptographers have tried in vain to decode its pages. Today, experts largely suspect it is either an invented cipher or an elaborate hoax. Yet no one can prove it. The manuscript's origin story jumps across Europe, from an emperor's library to a Jesuit sale to the antiquarian Voynich, always shrouded in secrecy. Yale only published it online in 2020, inviting crowdsourced study. The result? Still no consensus. To many, it is the epitome of forbidden knowledge, a book that appears and disappears without owner or meaning. That aura of secrecy provokes endless speculation about hidden agendas, alchemical recipes, a heretical cosmology. The cool reality is simpler. We have a beautiful book, mute. The Voynich invites us to confront a truth. Sometimes artifacts are found whole, but their messages remain locked. Its unanswered questions, who wrote it, what it means, haunt historians as a ghost text. The Hill Complex mystery. Great Zimbabwe, ruins of an immense stone city. once stood as sub-Saharan Africa's grandest monument. Between the 11th and 15th centuries, the ancestors of the Shona built an entire metropolis on granite hills. At its peak, roughly 20,000 people lived amid a ring of royal enclosures and freestanding towers. Such monumental architecture was previously unknown in southern Africa. When Great Zimbabwe was rediscovered by 19th century Europeans, racist scholars refused to believe Africans could have built it, attributing it to Phoenicians or biblical kings. Colonizers suppressed Shona heritage, until finally archaeologists in the 20th century acknowledged the ruins' true authorship. Even so, the site today is a nationalistic symbol, and its origins still draw mystery. Why did its people abandon it around 1450? Did trade with Arabia hide an unknown script or knowledge? Some point to enigmatic symbols, soapstone birds carved atop towers. Others note the precision of stonework done without mortar. Though well studied by archaeologists, Great Zimbabwe's remains still pose questions. Its layout is unique and unexplained, and local folklore of lost kings offers few clues. In the shadow of colonial myth, the hill country keeps its silence. The stone walls stand as a reminder that history can be hidden even in plain sight, written over by those in power until the truth is re-examined. The burned books of Maya. The ancient Maya once kept extensive pictographic books on folded bark paper. These codices contained astronomical tables, prophecies, and ritual knowledge, yet virtually all were destroyed soon after the Spanish conquest. In the 1560s, Bishop Diego de Landa famously gathered Maya elders' sacred books and burned them all in order to preserve their souls. Subsequent priests hunted down the last scrolls. Only 3 genuine Maya codices survived: Dresden, Madrid, and Paris, plus a contested 4th, Grolier, authenticated only recently. These fragmentary tomes are now prized relics in faraway museums. What was lost in the pyre is unknowable. Countless historical records, myths, and sciences of a highly literate civilization went up in flame. Las Casas, who witnessed the burnings, lamented that, with their destruction, access to the history of the Maya was greatly diminished. Decades of archaeological breakthroughs cannot recover that vanished library. The implication haunts Mesoamerican studies. What secrets of Maya calendars, kingship, or cosmology were lost? The only relics left are stone inscriptions and stelae, fragmented echoes of a buried archive. To this day, some scholars suspect clues to Maya chronology or even lost continents might remain encoded in those codices. The burned Maya books are a stark example of a truth literally erased by zealotry, a knowledge never returned, and a ghost in humanity's collective memory.